Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight I am in the Lightning. But I'm not alone. With me in a division, which doesn't happen very often, so you know it's going to be one of those special times, is none other than the Hivehound. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description below. I've talked about him before. He does some really good history behind the ships. That's why I like to listen to him. He's a smaller channel, but I like him. He's good. He's a good player too. Now, unfortunately for him, he currently doesn't have much in the way of ships on the Xbox. I'm clearly on the Xbox right now, so in order for him to division with me, it has to be on the Xbox. And so he's got a little bit of work to do to get back to having some ships of different tiers to play with. But he's in the Ashitaka in this one, Premium Tier 6 Japanese battleship, aka cruiser. It's got good guns, but that's about it. It doesn't take hits very well, as you will see later on, unfortunately for him. But we had a lot of good times, a lot of struggles to get through some ships yesterday. I was starting out the British cruiser line, so you guys will look forward to seeing those later in the week. We've got the Tier 4 Emerald, and we've got the Tier 5 Leander. So you guys can look forward to those. We're going to have a couple meet the videos. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not very good in them, so keep that in mind. But we're still going to have some fun. And we are in the Lightning, which you guys know I'm actually competent in. I actually really enjoy this ship, and I've said it many times, but it is very enjoyable to play the ship for me. Now, right off the bat, we're not in tube-by-tube launching because I like to start out the match with some wide angle, they call them, and I gave air quotes there because you guys totally can't see that. But I gave wide angles, which for the Lightning, a wide angle is hilarious. It's like the narrow angle of any other crew or any other destroyer in here. But we want to just kind of give a wide berth, cover as much, see if you can just reach out and touch something out there. Now they've put out a smoke screen. I'm fairly confident that our torpedoes aren't going to reach that smoke screen, unfortunately, but there's quite a few cruisers out there. Now, Hivehound is behind me here. I'm capturing C right off the bat, and we get to do that completely uncontested, which is nice. Anytime you get that, that's a huge bonus for your team. As you can see, we have the very first cap, so we are going to be accruing points much quicker than the enemy because they have to sink ships, and we don't. So now that we've got the cap, I can start to push out. And we have multiple cruisers out here. I believe it's an Indianapolis, Hipper, and a Edinburgh. So, or an Edinburgh. You guys will have to let me know. I try. Where I come from, it's just Edinburgh. So, so I apologize. I'm American. We speak the wrong kind of English, apparently. That's the way it works. But as you can see, we see some torpedoes here. They were trying to guess where I would end up in. I move a little closer this time, again throwing out those wide-angle torpedoes just to try to catch some sitting in their smoke screen. Because a lot of people tend to do that, especially British cruisers. They've got smoke, and so they'll tend to sit right in the smoke and fire. And unfortunately for them, it doesn't end well for them most of the time. But as you can see here, these guys are not your normal cruiser players. They're not sitting in their smoke. They're running outside of the smoke, completely anticipating the fact that I'm going to be launching torpedoes into the smoke screen. So it's a good move for them. Now, about this moment, I decide, okay, because these are cruisers and because he is in a battleship, I don't need to stay over there and help him with those cruisers. He should be able to handle them. Unfortunately, I made this decision just a hair too late. There are a couple Jean Barts over here, or at least one that I know of, and they are going to potentially cause problems for our team. Now, this Nagato is a legend. I'm going to tell you why. Yes, I get detected here. I'm inside 4 kilometers. It's one of the few times that I get detected in this match, but I figure at this range, it is almost impossible for him to avoid all of these. I'm giving just a little bit of everywhere, and he makes the perfect choice and decides to completely avoid every single torpedo. And I lost it. I was like, there is no way that he just dodged everything. That was impressive. Then I use my smoke to turn and get out of there. Gives me concealment. I don't have to worry about being spotted. And there's the legend. Like, just completely missed all of them. Now, some of that was my fault. I should have anticipated the turn and launched ahead of the mark. I launched a lot on the mark and behind the mark, thinking he would slow down rather than just turn away. I didn't think he had enough time to turn away and get away with it, but I was wrong. And unfortunately, the Highhound just got deleted by the Jean Bart. That, I feel like, was my fault. However, we didn't get completely ruined on this. We did manage to hit a couple of those on that Jean Bart. So, while we completely missed the target, we still got some hits, which is nice. And the Nagato out there is, or Nagato is out there. And so, surely, with all of his, I'm not going to get hit by this guy at 4 kilometers away with his torpedoes. And then he forgets, like, I don't know. He just, in his mind, what's going through it, I don't know. But he thinks that I've given up on him. He's made a critical mistake. Now, I only got 30,000 damage right now. 2 torpedo hits. Haven't used the guns at all, because with all the cruisers around, I didn't feel like using the guns was a good plan. But I was praying that this guy would make a left turn, and sure enough, he did. And unfortunately for him, that puts him in the path of 6 torpedoes. Actually, make that 7 torpedoes. And you're not turning away from these, Sunshine. Go back to port. Down he goes. Only needed 3 hits to kill him, but we hit him with 7. So, it's always better to overdo it than underdo it. That's what I say. Now, this Jean Bart is tunnel visioning something fierce. Now, I just torped the guy over there. But remember, when I launch the torps, that's when the reload starts, not when they hit somebody. And this guy makes the wrong decision here, getting much closer to where I was last spotted. And you'll see by me being lit up right now, he can see me. But he's looking down the sights of his gun because he just fired at somebody else. And now I'm disappeared. And he is in a world of trouble with that nasty, nasty salvo of torpedoes. Wait for it! Yep, too late. Go back to port. It's over. Over. Another 7 hits on the torpedoes. These ones all count because I needed all of those to kill him. So down he goes, and we enjoy a sizable lead. But I'm not done yet, guys. I got more where that comes from. We're sitting at 122,000 damage. There are still 2 cruisers and a battleship out there. So I'm thinking, let's go attack the battleship first. Cruisers, everybody can kill cruisers. We've got 1 battleship left, a bunch of cruisers, and there are only 2 cruisers left. If I get rid of this battleship, the odds... Oh, God. Okay, I can't shoot him here, but it's good to know where he's at. Now, we're not detected, so there's no reason to do anything crazy. I'm anticipating a turn in, because he's sailing towards my teammates, and so I just give him a little bit of everything. Just throw him right out across the front of him, and it looked like I was going to make the right play. And then I guess he either hit his radar or not his radar, but his sonar, and he saw him and turned the other direction and got the heck out of there. Which was the right play, because if he'd continued his trek to the left, that was going to be death. But he skirts by it. He takes a nasty hit in the process, and now he's going to do one of those where we're getting close to the island here. So I start firing the guns because it's minimal time of me being spotted, except, oh god, there's still an Indianapolis here. Luckily, I'm in a British destroyer, which means I've got the oopsie smoke. That's what I call it. It's called oopsie smoke. When you screw up and you have to get out of there and break contact, that's what the smoke is for. It's not for sitting and firing in most of the time. You can, but it's not. And, of course, the moment I decide to use my smoke, my cooldown for how long I was spotted after firing goes away. So, didn't need to use the smoke there, but you get a lot of them, and they reload pretty quick, so it's not that big a deal. Now, as you can see, we're getting ready to start popping all of our torpedoes out ahead of them, and hoping that we're going to get a hit here. And at the same time, we're sailing closer to the Colorado. I want to make sure that we get a chance. Now, the Indianapolis must have been playing around and not full speed yet, because when I launched those, he ends up outrunning them. Just stays in a straight line and just flat out outruns them. And just as we start firing our guns into Colorado, he gets finished off. Which means now we have to fight the Indianapolis and the Edinburgh. Now, Edinburgh's in there capturing C. We knew that was going to happen. It's not that big a deal. We have so much of a lead that if they get one cap, it's not that big of a deal. Also, if they get a cap, then that helps us because we don't have to worry about getting mercy rolled and missing out on some potential damage. Now, here's where I'm going to do some good stuff. First of all, I'm going to start firing my guns at this Indianapolis. He's already shown that he's not getting hit by torpedoes easily, so we're going to go ahead and start firing the guns, because it's a lot harder for him to avoid getting hit with guns than it is the thing. So what I'm trying to do here is set fires. And we've already fired our second salvo here. Are we going to get a fire? Come on, baby. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. The Lightning is very good at setting fires. And there's the first fire. And watch what happens. Damage control. One fire and a damage control, while I'm still firing high explosive at him. So now it's just a matter of time before his damage control runs out, and I set a fire, and cool people don't look at explosions, because we know that his damage control is used. We know he's going to burn to death. He didn't have enough health. He will burn to death. So we start immediately turning towards the Edinburgh, and he's firing his armor piercing at us, but again, even though it's British armor piercing and it's very good against destroyers, it's still not as good as high explosive, and down goes the Indianapolis to our fire damage. And we are already halfway, or close to halfway, to the Edinburgh. And just as we start to get even closer, notice I don't use my damage control here yet, because I didn't want it to be on cooldown when I get into a gunfight with this guy, because I'm assuming I'm going to have to get into a gunfight. It's a very maneuverable ship, so hitting it with torpedoes, even at close range. He's in a smoke screen, so he's not going to see me until it's too late. We're going to go ahead and switch over to armor piercing shortly, because I know that the armor piercing on this isn't bad, and that the Edinburgh isn't the most heavily armored ship in the world. It's got a good bow armor, but side armor, not good. So you'll see what I mean in a moment. As we get closer and closer, we start running our sonar, so we pick him up even though he's in a smoke. And sure enough, there he is, just inside 3.5 kilometers, and he's broadside on. So our beautiful armor piercing gets to work. One citadel, and come on, 2 more citadels. Come on, and another citadel, and the kill. So taking down a brand new cruiser, heavy cruiser, at the top of the tiers, with a destroyer using guns. You gotta love it. 147,000 damage gun, 4 kills, just 1 shy of a Kraken, 3,000 base XP, not bad. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.